Welcome back, my little nightmares. It is me, Queen Nightmare, and I'm going to do chapter 23, maybe even 24, but we'll see where it goes. Chapter 23, third person, POV. Harry and Draco made their way to the doctor. Although neither of them would admit it, they were nervous as hell. Sure, they took care of children before, but having a baby would solidify their relationship. A baby would bond them forever. They sat in the waiting room. Draco's leg was shaking and Harry wasn't speaking. He knew if he would, his stutter would come out. Excited? Draco bit his lip, holding Harry's hand, and Harry nodded. Nervous? Very. Harry stuttered, then groaned as Draco smiled and kissed Harry's cheek. It's okay, I am too, Draco admitted, and Harry sighed in relief. Good. Harry laid his head on Draco's shoulder. After they admitted they were both nervous, they both calmed down a little. Uh-oh. I hate when that happens. It's just the checkup. It's just the checkup, Draco noted. Yeah, true, but what if we're not healthy? We can't have a baby. That's not true, Raven. We just have to wait until we're better. Harry didn't say anything, but just nodded. Harry and Draco Malfoy Potter, the doctor called, and the two boys jumped up. That's us. They went over to the tall, plump man. He was an older healer with a warm smile. Oh, with a long-ass name. Hello, I'm Dr. Fecunditatum. You know what? I'm going to call him Dr. Fay. Will that work? He smiled. I already know who is who, he said to them. He beckoned them to follow him and explained the procedure. Now, I'll just do a checkup. Now, you want to do this the Muggle way. Yes, sir, Draco answered. All right, so we'll give you both a physical and take some blood, he explained. We'll also need a sperm sample from both of you. That doesn't seem so bad. Draco relaxed, but gripped tighter into Draco's hand. Nope, not at all. But, so who wants to go first? The doctor asked. With the men's eyes widened, they looked at each other. You are the chosen one, Draco rushed out. But you... Draco started, only to be cut off. Oh, so Harry, you go first. The doctor smiled. Draco, you can come with us. Wait, oh. I was like, wait a minute, they're splitting them up. What is happening? Is this some cult? I hate cult shit. I only like that in movies, because that you can't explain. Okay, anyways. All right. They went into a room, and Harry sat on the little table as Draco sat on a chair in the corner. The doctor sat in front of Harry, checking his eyes and his ears and in his nose. Take off your shirt. Okay. Oh, I'm just thinking back. If you remember in the last chapter, this woman recommended this doctor, but she had the author noted that she had this glint in her eyes that made me uncomfortable. So this doctor, I don't trust him one bit. So, I don't know. I just don't trust people that easily, I guess. My fault. Take off your shirt, the doctor ordered. Harry did, and Draco wolf whistled as Harry blushed as the doctor laughed. The doctor listened to Harry's lungs and heart. All seems in order? Can I put my shirt on? Harry asked. Yes. Harry slipped his shirt on. Now, we'll take some blood. Can I have your left arm? You'll be taking blood from the left? Wait, you'll be taking blood from the left? Draco asked, biting his lip. The dark mark was still on his arm. Yes, Draco, but I assure you I will not judge. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have judged him. I'm sorry. It's just that I don't trust people. But Dr. Fay smiled. Harry gave him his arm, and the doctor put the needle in, causing Harry to hiss in pain. The correct amount of blood was taken. So lucky. They can't find my veins in my arm. Causing the correct amount of blood from him. They put a bandage over it and allowed Harry to stand up. Draco stood up and allowed Harry to sit. Harry, you look like you're going to pass out, Draco said worriedly. That's normal. I advised the nurse to come in and bring him something to eat. They shouldn't have taken that much blood. Well, for my allergy testing, I almost passed out. I almost vomited, too. I don't know why, because I'm not used to taking that much blood. I don't know. I must be just like him. Anyways. Right on cue, the nurse came in and gave Harry some apple juice and a cookie. Oh my gosh, I would kill for some apple juice and orange juice. Love that. Anyways. Thank you, Harry muttered, taking a bite of the cookie. Your turn, Mr. Draco, the doctor said. My stepson calls me that. Draco smiled, sitting on the table where Harry had been before. But I have no idea why, but he insists on calling me that. Probably because he's familiar. Probably because he's familiar with that. Harry chuckled, but Draco was just shrugged. The doctor checked Draco's eyes, ears, and nose. All seemed to be normal. He listened to Draco's heart, which was fine. But when he got to Draco's lungs, he frowned. What's wrong? Harry asked, looking at the concerned face. Mr. Draco, are you a smoker? Oh, fuck. I don't remember him smoking. Do I remember does he smoke? I forgot if he smoked. It's been a long series. I'm sorry. I don't remember everything. Yeah, okay, Mr. Draco, do you smoke? The doctor asked. Yeah, occasionally. Well, how often? Every time I'm stressed, I guess. How many times a week? Maybe 1 or 2 cigarettes every other day? The doctor nodded. Is that an issue? Not for the child, if you promise to quit, but as for you, you might need an inhaler. Shit, why is this so... Okay, I might go on an inhaler myself because I have a type of asthma as well. It's not in my lungs that you can tell. It's just that my allergies bother my lungs so much is that I start to wheeze. I literally was going on my phone and my grandma said, is it hard for you to breathe? And I go, no. She goes, you're wheezing right now. And I go, what? So, this literally just happened today. So, wow, what a coincidence. I didn't even look this over yet. I promise you, I'm not cheating. But I don't have trouble breathing. Well, your lungs don't sound up to par. He told them, nothing to worry about, just a little precaution. Yeah, mine is too. It's a controlled steroid that helps you with your breathing and helps you open up, and sometimes it makes you jittery a little bit. All right, Draco nodded. Can I do this the magic way? He asked, hopefully, and the doctor laughed. Unfortunately not, he said, handing him the inhaler. Here, take this twice a day, 2 puffs. He grabbed a pamphlet for smokers. Here's help to quit. Thanks, Draco muttered. Well, let's continue, shall we? The doctor said, and Draco nodded. Can I have your arm? Draco reluctantly lifted his arm. The doctor stuck the needle just above the dark mark, causing Draco to groan in pain. Does the mark hurt? A little. I know you can get another tattoo to cover it, the doctor suggested. That's an idea, Harry said. So Draco just nodded and the doctor finished. Now you both can give me a sample and you'll be on your way, the doctor informed them. Okay, the two men said sheepishly. I'll bring you to the room back there. There are sample cups in there already. They both nodded and went to the back room. Let me tell you something, is that they don't leave you alone. They actually put you, if you're going to take a sample of pee or whatever it is, they actually lead you to the, what was it? Crap. Can't think of it now. The bathroom, and then they stick the tube through a wall. Like, there's a connecting wall. And they have, like, this vault-looking thing that they open up to get your sample. And they don't have to talk to you or anything. You just leave the sample there. They'll take it, put your label on it, and you're good to go. Not like this, but it's a book. It's fantasy, I'm sorry, but it's just something new to learn, I guess. So I like learning new things. Harry's POV. After I donated my piece, I waited for Draco outside in the waiting room. He came out in a few minutes later. What took you so long? I asked. I was having trouble getting started, he muttered, and I suppressed a laugh. Shut it, Potter. Malfoy, Potter, I corrected, and he smiled. And don't you forget that. He kissed me. Never. I dragged Draco around the store looking for ways to help him to quit smoking. Actually, there's actually really good ones. I don't know the brand of them, but they're actual, like, ones that taste like grape, strawberry, stuff like that. They're actually better for you. They don't contain any of that bad stuff, or you don't have to go through the patch or the gum, which sometimes doesn't work for others. I knew it because when I was growing up, I always saw them. That was grape, strawberry, stuff up there, like they were fake ones, to help you to quit getting used to the nicotine and stuff like that. I didn't know you smoked that often, I told him. Well, it's not of impotence, he retorted. Well, actually, smoking does cause impotency, so good luck, boy, he retorted. Well, it is to me. Patch or gum? Excuse me? Patch or gum, I repeated. Either one helps with smoking. Patch, I guess, he replied, so I nodded, and we bought the patch. We walked out, hand in hand, outside. So how long until we find out the results? And why was our sperm taken? 2 or 3 days for blood. The sperm, they have to check if it's healthy enough, if we have enough. Oh, Draco said, and I nodded. So if there isn't enough? I'm not sure, I shrugged. But it's not something we should worry about. Think positive thoughts. Okay, he nodded, and all of a sudden he pushed me up against the wall and kissed me. I kissed him back, slid his tongue. Oh, wait. Wait, where's this going? Please not. Because my mom can hear everything I'm saying right now. Well, usually she has heard. You know the really ones that are 18 plus with everything. It says everything, like even the C word and the D word and those words. My mom has heard it. Even the fake moaning and stuff like that. And she's supportive of it because I have an audience. I'm not doing it for drugs or money and stuff like that. She's proud of me, which is really weird to say when you're talking about fanfiction. But anyways, He slid his tongue against my bottom lip. I opened my mouth and we battled for dominance. Him winning. He moved his hand in my hair and pinned his body against mine. I moaned in his mouth and pulled away. Doesn't seem you're having problems now. I chuckled and he laughed. He kissed me once more before continuing walking. Not that I didn't enjoy that. But why? Not that I didn't enjoy that, but why? Think positive thoughts, he said. Being with you is the most positive thought. I smiled. That's not true. I shook my head. Why do you say that? He smirked, knowing the answer. Because you are the most positive thought. He grinned and kissed me. I love you, Malfoy Potter. I love you more. We went back to the house and Scorpius and Ted were in the kitchen. How'd it go? I'm going to try to do Ted and Scorpius' voices as best as possible. Also, I want to know your opinion on Scorpius and Ted. If you want a fanfiction about them. Or their children, for the future. Please put it down below what you think. Okay. How did it go? Ted asked, taking a bite of food. Well, the procedure went fine. Harry is pregnant, Draco exclaimed. Why am I always the one to be carrying the child? I hissed. Because you bought him, he pointed out, shrugging. Scorpius grimaced. Ew. Nothing we didn't know, Ted said. I blushed and buried my face into Draco's chest. Anyway, we're waiting for the results, and we should get them soon, Draco explained. And how is this going to work? Scorpius asked. Surrogate. Why didn't you just, impregnate each other and have 2 kids? I'm sorry, but that happened in my last book, and it worked fine. Anyways, let's go. Draco answered, and they raised their eyebrows, so I jumped in. I tried explaining. We use our male sex cells and get female sex cells. They implant it into a woman who holds our child. The baby will look like her? Ted asked. Guess they'll have some of her features, but mainly ours, I answered. Are you excited? Scorpio asked. Scorpius. Sorry, not Scorpio. I literally watched all of Dynasty, the show, and it effed me up, if you know what I mean. Anyways, let's go on. If I'm being really loud, please let me know. Okay. Of course, I smiled. Yes, of course. I think we're ready for a baby. Well, I hope said Ted. Well, I hope you're sure soon, Scorpius replied. A baby is a big responsibility. Scorpius replied. All right, Dad. Draco rolled his eyes as Scorpius smirked and winked. You know what's really messed up at this point? Scorpius can get someone pregnant right now at the same age as Draco getting someone pregnant or close to it. Jeez, just thinking about it, because he's acting like more of an adult than Draco is. Jeez Louise, man. That just messes you up in a little bit. Anyway, we're happy for you two and can't wait. Yeah, we're going to teach our new little brother and sister our mischievous ways. Or just have a daycare of, just George having a daycare. There we go. Best way to have mischievous kids. That is, if you had any. I laughed. We have some. I mean, I nearly killed Scorpius last year, Ted said. He has a point, Scorpius butted in. Anyway, we'll know in a few days if we're healthy, Draco said. We'll go from there. Draco smiled, looking at me. I looked at him and smiled. Soon enough. Chapter 24. Oh yeah, we can do this. Harry's POV. It had been a few days since we got our physical, and we hadn't heard back from the doctor yet. That made Draco even more stressed, which made him want to smoke even more. I had caught him in a few times slipping up. Then I made him go on the patch. But baby, it makes me sick, he groaned from the other side of the phone as we were both at work. You're a healer, sweetheart. You can make yourself feel better, I pressed, causing him to sigh. Fine, he huffed. Thanks, love dove. Oof, sorry, that just made me cringe. But I want to know when we'll find out, he argued. It's almost been a week. No news is good news. Not necessarily, he muttered. Be patient, dragon, I assured. Fine. I have to go anyway. I love you, and I'll see you at home. I love you more. He hung up, and I went back to work for about an hour until my phone rang. Hello, I answered. Mr. Malfoy Potter, this is Dr. Faye. Dr. Faye's a receptionist. Can you come to the office right away? It's urgent, she said, and my heart sank. I'll be right there, I said, got off the phone and left my office. Harry, what's wrong? Ron asked. You're so pale. The doctor's office just called. They said to come in because it was urgent. I rushed out, so he put a hand on my back. Hey, it'll be okay, he said. You don't know what he's going to say. Don't panic. Okay, I'll be seeing you later, I told him, and he nodded. I operated to the doctor's office, and Draco was already there. Draco, I called, and he had his head down, and then he snapped up. He jumped up and wrapped me in a hug. Harry, I'm so scared. He nearly cried onto my back. I meant into my back, but reading fast happens. Shh, it's okay, I rubbed his back. It'll be okay. I hushed. Draco and Harry Malfoy Potter. We heard, and we let go of each other, but gripped our hands. But he gripped my hand. We walked to the back, and we were brought in where his private office was. So what is so urgent? We asked. Well, first off, I wanted to say, I didn't mean to worry you. I just wanted you to come immediately, he assured, and took a deep breath. Secondly, I would like to inform that your samples came out great, and you can start a process right away with a surrogate of your choosing. There's one thing, though. Yes? We asked in unison, and he sighed. Well, we'll have to put a surrogate in fertility treatments and to increase her chances of getting pregnant. This will take 2 to 4 months. Once it's time, the chance of multiple births is increased, he explained, causing us to look at each other, then him. Multiple births? Like twins? I questioned, and the doctor nodded. Twins, triplets, quadruplets? You name it. I don't want to prepare you for what's to come, he disclosed to us, and we nodded. Also, it would be best to just use one of your sperm. It'll be easier that way, he informed us, so we glanced at each other once more. I can let you talk over it. If you want some privacy, he just suggested. Yes, please. Draco answered. So the doctor got up and walked out of his office. As he left, Draco turned to me. So what do you want to do? He asked. Multiple births? Do you think we could handle multiple babies at once? I questioned, and he scrunched up his nose. Tell me, why you want this? Maybe it'll put my mind a little at ease, I suggested, and he nodded. Okay, first of all, I want children with you. So badly, and this way, we can have them all at once. He started. It's not set in stone, and we'll have multiple babies, and if we do, we can do this. He smiled, and using his thumb to gently stroke the back of my hand. So I wanted us to take a look to... I wanted our children to look like both of us. He frowned slightly, and I shrugged. We'll get a surrogate that looks like both of us, that doesn't donate. I told him, and his eyes twinkled. Let's do it. Well, one thing, though, is that if there's a wizard way about him being impregnated, why don't you go with that? Because then you don't... Maybe Harry or whoever wants both of them, or one of them will, sacrifice, hey, I'll go through the treatments of having maybe more treatments for 2 to 4 months, and being able to have more than one kid. What if one of them did that, and then they don't have to worry about the surrogate to look like us, just because it's their own genes, right? Maybe they just don't want to carry the kid. But then again, can't help it. Well, we'll get a surrogate that looks like both of them. Both the one of us that doesn't donate. I told him, and his eyes twinkled. Let's do it. Really? He grinned. So I jumped up and sat on his lap. I want to have kids just as much as you do, I smiled. We're in this together. We can do this. He smiled and kissed me. We already make great dads. We do, I smiled and nodded. I think we should decide who's donating. He told me, and I blinked at him. I think you should, since I have a biological son already, he disclosed to me, and I chewed on my lip before shaking my head. It doesn't bother me that Ted's not my biological son, and that I could possibly not have children biologically, I told him, and he shook his head. No, it doesn't bother you, but I still think you should donate, he confessed. So I smiled and nodded. Okay, then I will, I told him, and he grinned, kissing my lips gently, and I hopped off of him and grabbed his hand. We walked into the hall, and the doctor was talking to his receptionist. Doctor? Draco called. Yes, he smiled. Oh, he's such a friendly doctor. I always love a doctor who is friendly, because then you know that you can actually have a relationship with them. Not anything personal, but I mean you can talk to them and they're more in conversation. That's the doctor to have. We'll do it. Harry's going to be the donor, Draco explained with a smile, so the doctor smiled too. Perfect. Now you can come with me and pick out a surrogate. She'll have to meet you, and it's really her option if she'll do it. But if she says yes, we'll do it as soon as possible. I don't remember the reason why they didn't want to do it themselves. Maybe sometimes I have a really bad forgetful brain. I even forget my mom's name, and called her something else. So, anyways. Okay. And we'll do it as soon as possible. Oh. Okay, thank you. Ooh. Okay, thank you. We smiled and we walked with him back in his office. He gave us an album of surrogates. We looked for one we liked. It was a picture of them and what they were like. It's like we're going on a blind date. Draco chuckled, so I smiled and kissed his cheek. We went through the book looking for someone to resemble Draco as much as possible. I wanted to make sure the child looked similar to him as much as me. We stopped on one woman with dirty blonde hair and dark blue eyes. She's beautiful, I gawked, and Draco cleared his throat. But I only have eyes for you. I smiled at him and he blushed. I pressed a kiss on his nose. How about her? I asked, and he scanned the page. She's a pureblood, he smiled. Oh, jeez. And she went to Hogwarts, but she was sorted into Hufflepuff, which means she's loyal. Yeah, she's loyal to her friends. One thing about... I think that a lot of people pick on Hufflepuff a lot. But one thing, though, is that... One thing that everyone else, like, Gryffindor has bravery. Ravenclaw has smarts. Slytherins have cunning. They can get out of any situation. And then there is Hufflepuff. And Hufflepuff is really, really let down and like, bullied and criticized of what they actually represent. But they represent loyalty to their friends. I'm not a very good Hufflepuff. I'm more of a Slytherin. I can get out of any situation. I'm a slithery snake. Anyways. Yes, exactly. He smiled. Megan Jones. He pointed to her name and gasped. I think she was in my year. I think she was in my year. I said, she is our age. Dr. F, can we meet her? We asked, and so he walked over and smiled. I thought you might like her, he admitted to us. She works here. Actually, she's free at the moment. Care to meet her now? Yes, Draco exclaimed. All right, let's go. We grabbed each other's hand, and Draco and I, not the doctor, and we walked down a hall. That's literally what it says. It's not me correcting myself. He knocked on the door. Come in, a soft voice said. We walked in, and a girl was sitting behind a computer. Megan, I have two gentlemen who have seen your profile, he said. And the girl looked up, and her eyes widened. Harry Potter and Draco Malfoy? She asked, surprised but happy. Malfoy Potter now, Draco smiled. Oh, you two, that's fantastic. She stood up and walked over to us. You probably don't remember me because I looked a little different in school. We remember you, sort of. Draco trailed off and she chuckled. That's totally fine. We all had stuff going on. So, you want a baby? She questioned. She's straight to the point. I like her. Hold up. Yeah. She doesn't, like, beat around the bush, doesn't she? That's what I do. Sometimes I really ask really personal questions. I'm like, oh, did I say something wrong? Because I just blurt out what I want to say sometimes. And I don't know if it's rude. That's why I ask, I know, please stop me if it's rude. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just a really curious person. Anyways, going on. Very much, I asked. I nodded. Well, I'll be happy to do it for you guys, she confessed, and we looked at her seriously. Really? Draco asked. Yes, of course, she answered, and then pulled us into a hug. When do you want to start? We can start treatment in your next cycle, and in about 2 to 4 months, we'll do insemination and hope it takes. This is the doctor talking. I thought he was really smart into knowing what he's talking about. I do, but that's why I know I'm in the medical field, though. But squishy. My goodness, I'm gassy. Sorry. We can start treatment in your next cycle and about 2 to 4 months. We'll do the insemination and hope it takes, the doctor explained, and Megan grinned. Sounds perfect. Draco's POV. After the doctor visit, Harry and I just went home, where we found Scorpius and Ted eating in the kitchen. Again, all they do is eat. They're my type of crew. You know what? I have a sneaking suspicion that magic is real. We just don't know about it. I wish I knew. I wish I was a wizard, you know? I don't care if I was muggle-born or whatever. I would do it. You guys are home early, Scorpius mentioned, taking a bite of a hamburger. My dude. Same. Can I just marry these guys? Like, seriously? I would marry Scorpius and Ted. Totally. Well, we just got back from the doctor, I said, and motioning for Harry to... Well, we just got back from the doctor. I motioned for Harry to take a seat so I can make lunch for us. We sat in between the two boys. How did that go? Ted asked, eating a piece of chicken. My goodness, what did you make, a gourmet meal? Trust me, if it's not a bag of chips, it's gourmet to me anymore. That's how lazy I've gotten. I need to make more tea. Where was I? We picked out our surrogate, and in a few short months, we might be parents. I informed them. Both boys stopped, and what they were doing, and looked at me, then to Harry. Really? Scorpius asked. Yes, we might be fathers again, Harry answered. We picked a nice pure-blood girl who was a Hufflepuff in our year. She said she'd be delighted to carry our children. Children? I just he hones on just not they had a pure-blood girl in their year and they don't even know who she is, but they just say children, and then he's like, children? Ted asked. Well, she has to be on fertility, so the chance of multiple children pregnancy is higher than normal. What's multiple? Ted inquired. Could be twins, could be triplets, could be quadruple, could be quads. I trailed off and the boys gasped. Wow! My ass be like... Yeah, Harry and I agreed. Scorp, that means we have more the chance to corrupt them. Ted high-fived his stepbrother. There will be no corrupting your siblings, I shouted, and pulled out the pizza I made for Harry and I. I made my way over there and sat on his lap. Well, we're very happy for you two, Scorpius said and stood up. Really, I know you can do this, and we'll help out. He gave us a hug, and Ted followed his lead. Yes, we will, unless we're at school, of course. Thank you, guys, Harry muttered into his arms. We were in a group hug, and the boys left. Well, we'll be outside, Scorpius told us. Then two boys walked out. They walked out. They were like, I'm done. Like my future. Oh, bad jokes. I'm sorry. Harry cuddled up to my chest as we ate. Alright, so we're gonna need to pick out other names just in case. I pointed and he nodded his head back and forth. Okay, we'll each say a name and the other will tell us their opinion, he suggested, so I nodded. Okay, I start. How about Severus James? I suggested, and he scrunched up his nose, shaking his head. No, we couldn't do that. That's worse than Draco Harry. He shook his head and I sighed. How about Albus Severus, he suggested, and I bit my lip. It wasn't terrible, and he did incorporate Snape's name in there. Okay, I answered. I like that, I told him, and he grinned. Great. I also have another. You don't do this. Oh, gosh. He told me, and I raised an eyebrow. Draco James, he just suggested, and I gapped at him. Why after me? I asked, and he smiled. 'Cause then we know he'll be great. Oh, he told me, so I shoved him playfully. We'll see. I told him, and he nodded his head. What about if we had a girl? I asked. He bit his lip and chewed on it. Harriet Generva. Why are you doing this to your children? It's a horrible name. He finally answered, smirking. Pratt. Yeah, I laughed. What are you really thinking? I asked, putting our foreheads together. I like to name her Luna, he disclosed. All right, Luna. I nodded. Dora? Luna Dora Malfoy Potter, he said as a question. I like it. So do I. He smiled and I kissed him. I love you. I love you more. Harry decided to call Ron because he was nervous at the office when he got the call. Ron was ecstatic to hear we were planning for a baby because Hermione was pregnant, and that meant our children would be around the same age. That means they can be friends. Harry smiled. Oh, great Malfoy friends with a Weasley. I laughed. Malfoy Potter. He smiled and pecked my lips. And don't you forget it. Ooh, is that a threat? Sorry, I am so vindictive. You cannot do that to me. Okay, guys, I'm going to stop it here. I promise I'm going to just, right when I end this, I'm going to oh my goodness, what did I do? I tapped something, and then it was like, screw you. That type of thing. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and I really, really did like hearing your comments and stuff like that. I still have to reply to some because I just came back from a pulmonary test that does lung capacity. I have some sort of asthma, but they don't understand how it's related to my allergies. It's just my nose, sinuses drain into my throat, and after a while, my throat gets so dry that if I talk or laugh or anything, I wheeze. Then, anyways, guys, that's pretty much it. What's happening with me? So I've been worrying about that, and my school is canceled. So I was gonna have in school for 2 days and then out 3, but I guess not. So I am so happy, and I feel so special about everything you do for me. You are amazing, and for future people out there, I welcome you, and you're never too late. You can comment on any video with any question you have. I don't care. You can have, and even contact my social media. I recommend you do. Then I have every ducks in a row I have, so that I can have requests, stuff like that. I already have requests for creepypasta, and my next after this will be Jeff the Killer x Slenderman. Oof. But I think I also have another one. If you wanted me to do the Ladybug one, I absolutely do not know what ship you want to do, so please let me know down below as soon as possible, because if you want me to read it, I need to know what to do. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, guys. Be happy, be healthy, and always be loving. Thank you for everything. I love you guys so much. Bye-bye. Bye.